Super Mario Galaxy first launched on the Nintendo Wii, where it was met with critical acclaim, and it's still often celebrated as one of Mario's greatest adventures. Years later, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection brought the game to the Nintendo Switch, though it was a part of a limited time release. Now, as a part of Mario's 40th anniversary celebrations, both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are available now on the Switch 1 and 2, either bundled together or sold separately. But that leaves us with one big question. If you already own the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, is it worth buying Galaxy all over again? Let's take a look. One of the biggest shifts in Mario Galaxy comes from how the controls have been adapted to modern hardware. On the original Wii, the motion controls were the core of the experience, with the Wii remote used for aiming star bits and performing spin attacks. The 3D All-Stars version did translate this to Joy-Con motion in docked mode and touchscreen controls in handheld mode, which worked out well all things considered, but still felt a little bit clunky. Now in this new release, those options remain, but they've also been tightened up. Handheld play still makes use of the touchscreen for pointer controls, while the docked play offers both motion aiming with the Joy-Cons and right stick support. If you own the Switch 2, you can also use mouse mode. What surprised me most is how well the gyro aiming actually works, because I've never been a fan of gyro controls in most games, but here it actually feels really accurate and natural, and for some reason easier to use than before. I'm not 100% sure on what's changed here, but perhaps it's the Switch 2 gyro compared to the original Switch, but it was a nice balance between honouring the Wii's original design and offering a smoother, more comfortable playstyle for today's hardware. I've sunk a fair few hours into Galaxy 1 using my Pro 2 controller and gyro, and I find that I'm now clicking and picking up star bits with ease. And here's where most people are going to be interested, in the visual differences. Now, I hate to say it, but in this new version of Super Mario Galaxy, they're not huge. Really, the main thing you're going to notice is the resolution, and without digging too deep, on the surface, the worlds look very similar to the 3D All-Stars version. That said, the increase in resolution does eliminate a lot of the pixelation that was noticed on the older version, giving the worlds a much cleaner and sharper look. Going into a close-up here, you can also see the details of Mario's overalls here. There's a bit more texturing on the pocket and the stitching. And another close-up here, you can see that resolution and just how crisp that is. Some textures, like grass, actually look better in certain areas, and the crisp, colourful worlds really pop. Now the game was already built on a fantastic graphics engine, and the added sharpness brings subtle but noticeable level of polish, although not all elements have been improved. Some planetary textures, such as dirt or rocky surfaces, feel less detailed than before, and the clouds around certain planets appear washed out compared to the richer look of the All-Stars version. Now even with these minor drawbacks, the overall visual presentation is cleaner and crisper. Performance feels on par with the All-Stars version on Switch 2, although with the new version you do have the added bonus of 4K support for those with compatible hardware. Now, full disclaimer, this video is limited to 1080p due to hardware constraints on my end, but even at this resolution, the improvements are clearly visible. Beyond the core gameplay, this release brings a few quality of life improvements that make the experience more enjoyable without changing the heart of the game. A major addition is the Rosalina storybook, which adds a new narrative layer. Galaxy 1 features a new chapter, while Galaxy 2 includes a picture book format with 4 chapters. It's a small expansion that rewards players who want a little bit more story. The assist mode, which we've seen in a lot of these remasters, is also a welcome addition because it provides a little bit of extra health and an automatic rescue if Mario falls into a black hole. It just makes the game more approachable for newer players or anyone who just wants a slightly more relaxed experience. Menus and interface elements have been refined, making navigation smoother and text sharper, albeit a little bit smaller. Control options are flexible, letting players choose between motion aiming with Joy-Cons, mouse mode on Switch 2, or the touchscreen input in handheld mode. And like I said, the gyro aiming works particularly well here. I was pleasantly surprised with how well it worked. Other small additions offer an in-game music player letting you enjoy the iconic soundtrack at any time, and amiibo support, which grants a life or 1-up mushroom when scanning the Mario or Rosalina amiibo. For those with the Switch 2, like I said, you do have mouse mode and there is 4K resolution support, which further enhances the visuals a little bit if you have compatible hardware. Still, in my opinion, it's a hard sell recommending Super Mario Galaxy if you already own the 3D All-Stars version. Sure, the bump in resolution and the sharpness do look great, but if graphics don't really bother you and you're not planning to deep dive into the lore of Rosalina's storybook, most of the changes are very subtle. Now, the physical double pack does offer collectible value, but if you already own 3D All-Stars, purchasing Galaxy 2 by itself will simply save you $30 Australian. Now, if you don't own All-Stars, then it's really a no-brainer because both adventures are worth your time and money. I get the discourse, don't get me wrong, but despite the price, there's plenty of adventure here, and these games do remain definitive versions for modern hardware with sharper visuals, smoother controllers, and several quality of life improvements. Now, for my full thoughts on gameplay, visuals, controls, all that jazz, stay tuned for my review coming in the next couple of days. And I do have to say that in the interest of full disclosure, a review copy has been provided to me by Nintendo Australia, and this doesn't influence my opinions. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it, the best way you can support What's It Like is by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. For more reviews, click on the thumbnails to the right, and for everything Nintendo, check out whatsItlike.com.au.